90% of car owners don't know they're making car mistakes on their automatic car, and this costs thousands in car repairs. Before you waste any more money, I'll reveal the 15 things you should never do in your automatic car. Do not skip to save money. Let's dive in. Mistake number 15. Shifting between drive and reverse without stopping. We've all done it, backing out of a driveway, then shifting directly to drive while still rolling backward. This puts extreme stress on your transmission's clutches and bands. When you shift between drive and reverse while moving, even slightly, you're forcing your transmission to suddenly change direction while components are still spinning. This creates significant wear on the clutch packs and bands. Modern transmissions are sophisticated, but they're not indestructible. Always come to a complete stop before changing directions. Your transmission will thank you by lasting the full lifetime of your vehicle instead of failing prematurely. In CVT transmissions, this maneuver is even more damaging, potentially causing the steel belt to slip or jump position. Transmission repairs for direction change damage typically start at $2,000 and can exceed $4,000 for luxury vehicles. Speaking of stress on your transmission, mistake number 14, holding your car on a hill with just the gas pedal. You're stopped on a hill at a traffic light. Instead of using your brake, you're giving it just enough gas to prevent rolling backward. Your transmission is now caught between the engine's power and gravity's pull. This creates excessive heat in your transmission fluid as the torque converter slips constantly. Transmission fluid breaks down rapidly under heat, leading to premature wear of internal components. Use your brakes to hold position on hills, not your accelerator. Even better, engage the parking brake while stopped on steep inclines. Then release it as you accelerate. This simple habit can add years to your transmission's life. If you don't do this, transmission fluid can break down in just 50,000 miles instead of the expected 100,000 plus. The excessive slippage also wears out the torque converter's lockup clutch and can glaze the friction surfaces. Many newer vehicles have hill hold assist features specifically to prevent this practice. They temporarily maintain brake pressure when starting on inclines. This next one is especially harmful. Before that, if you made it here like the video, the next one would shock you. Mistake number 13, shifting to park before coming to a complete stop. This is one of the most common mistakes I see. You're rolling into a parking spot and shift into park while the car is still moving. That loud clunk you hear? That's the parking powel, a small metal pin, being forced against a moving gear. This creates immediate stress on your transmission components. That tiny powel isn't designed to stop a moving vehicle. It's only meant to keep a stationary vehicle from rolling. In worst-case scenarios, a broken parking powel means your car can roll away even when parked. The repair requires transmission disassembly, often costing $2,500. Most manufacturers specifically warn against this practice in owner's manuals, using language like, "Vehicle must be completely stopped before shifting to park." Let's talk about another transmission killer that most drivers don't even realize they're doing. Mistake number 12, flooring it, form a standstill. Sometimes you want to feel that acceleration push you back in your seat, but regularly flooring the accelerator from a stop is absolutely punishing your transmission. When you slam the gas pedal, your transmission has to rapidly build pressure to engage the forward gears under maximum load. This creates intense heat and stress on the clutch packs and bands. The transmission fluid temperature spikes, and prolonged high temperatures break down the fluid's lubricating properties. If you want brisk acceleration, apply throttle progressively rather than stomping the pedal. Your transmission wasn't designed for drag racing starts, and replacing it will cost you $3,000, $8,000 depending on your vehicle. When you floor it from a stop, the transmission control module commands maximum pressure almost instantly, which can exceed 300 psi in mainline pressure, near the system's absolute limit. This creates tremendous mechanical shock throughout the drivetrain. The clutch material faces slippage until fully engaged, generating extreme friction heat. The transmission in your average family simply isn't built for this stress level. Number 5 is something too many drivers neglect. Mistake number 11, ignoring transmission fluid maintenance. Lifetime fluid is marketing speak for lifetime of the warranty. Don't fall for it. No fluid lasts forever, especially not transmission fluid that operates under extreme heat and pressure. Degraded. Transmission fluid loses its lubricating properties and cleaning detergents. it becomes less effective at transferring power and cooling components. Dark, burnt-smelling fluid is a transmission's cry for help. Most manufacturers recommend changes every 30,000 – 60,000 miles for severe conditions, which includes stop-and-go traffic and hot climates. Sound familiar? Regular fluid changes cost around $150 to $300, while a replacement transmission runs $3,000 to $8,000. Many transmission specialists recommend a fluid flush that replaces nearly 100% of the old fluid. For vehicles with high mileage that have never had the fluid changed, some technicians recommend against complete fluid changes, as the new detergents might dislodge accumulated deposits that were actually plugging leaks or keeping worn components functioning. This next habit might surprise you. Number 10. Constantly shifting to neutral at stoplights. Many drivers were taught to shift to neutral at red lights to save fuel or reduce wear. This advice is outdated and actually harmful for modern automatic transmissions. Today's fuel-injected engines use minimal fuel at idle with the brake pressed. Meanwhile, every shift between drive and neutral creates wear on your shift linkage and internal components. Plus, you're eliminating your ability to move quickly if an emergency arises. Modern transmissions are designed to stay in drive at stops. The torque converter effectively disconnects the engine from the wheels when you're stationary with your foot on the brake. Keep it simple and leave it in drive. When you shift back to drive from neutral, the transmission must rebuild line pressure and re-engage the forward clutches. This momentary engagement under even light throttle accelerates wear on the friction surfaces. From a fuel economy perspective, modern engine management systems reduce fuel delivery to near minimum levels when idling in drive with brakes applied. The difference in fuel consumption between drive and neutral at a 60-second stoplight is typically less than 0.01 gallons, literally pennies of fuel saved while creating dollars of wear. Additionally, many newer vehicles have auto start-stop, systems that shut off the engine regardless of whether you're in drive or neutral when stopped. Here's one I see all the time, especially in driving videos. Number 9. Resting your hand on the shifter. But this habit puts constant pressure on the shift mechanism and internal components. Even slight pressure on the shifter can partially engage the selector fork against the synchronizer or clutch pack, creating premature wear. Over time, this leads to sloppy shifting and potential transmission damage. Keep both hands on the steering wheel where they belong. It's safer and better for your vehicle. If your car has paddle shifters and a sport mode, use those for manual control rather than the shift lever. The engineering specifics make this clear. In vehicles with mechanical shift linkages, resting weight on the shifter transfers force directly to the selector mechanisms inside the transmission. This continuous pressure creates friction and wear at contact points. In cable-operated shifters, the constant tension stretches the cables over time, causing shifting to become imprecise. For electronically controlled shift-by-wire systems, the pressure on the shifter still stresses the mechanical components in the shifter assembly itself, potentially damaging position sensors or switch contacts. The repair costs vary widely, from $200 for a simple shifter cable replacement to $1,500 for internal selector fork repairs that require transmission disassembly. Beyond mechanical wear, this habit reduces driving safety by keeping one hand off the steering wheel, potentially increasing reaction time in emergency situations. Ready for another transmission myth debunked? Number 8. Coasting downhill in neutral. Many drivers coast downhill in neutral, thinking they're saving fuel. In modern cars, this actually wastes gas and creates a serious safety issue. When coasting in drive with your foot off the accelerator, most modern cars cut fuel almost completely, called deceleration fuel cutoff. But in neutral, the engine needs to keep burning fuel to maintain idle. You're also eliminating engine braking, putting all stopping responsibility on your brakes alone. On long descents, this can lead to brake overheating and potential failure. Stay in drive while going downhill. It's safer and more efficient. On steep or long descents, relying solely on friction brakes can cause temperatures to exceed 900 at the brake rotors, potentially leading to brake fade, where stopping power dramatically decreases due to heat-induced gas buildup between the pads and rotors. Many states actually have laws against coasting in neutral on public roads, classifying it as failure to maintain proper control of a vehicle, a ticketable offense in most jurisdictions. This next habit is a safety nightmare. Number 7, driving with both feet. Yes, people do this. Unless you're driving a manual transmission, there's absolutely no reason to use your left foot for braking. Two-foot driving creates dangerous situations and premature wear. Most two-footed drivers unconsciously rest their left foot lightly on the brake pedal, causing constant brake drag, premature wear, and continuously illuminated brake lights that confuse other drivers. In panic situations, you're also likely to slam both pedals, confusing your vehicle's safety systems. Stick with one foot for both pedals, right foot only for automatic transmissions. It's the proper technique taught by every professional driving instructor for a reason. The problems with two-foot driving are both mechanical and neurological. Human proprioception, the sense of body position, makes it extremely difficult to maintain the left foot above the brake pedal without applying slight pressure. Studies show most two-foot drivers unconsciously apply 2 to 5 pounds of pressure to the brake pedal, even when attempting to hover above it. Modern brake systems require only 5 to 10 pounds of pressure to engage the brake pads against the rotors. This constant light contact accelerates brake pad wear by as much as 30% and can increase rotor temperatures during normal driving. The always illuminated brake lights create a boy who cried wolf situation for following drivers, who begin to ignore your brake lights, potentially leading to rear-end collisions. From a safety perspective, in emergency situations requiring maximum braking force, the right foot can typically apply greater pressure, 100+ pounds, than the left foot, typically 60–80 pounds in untrained drivers. Additionally, in vehicles without brake override systems, simultaneous accelerator and brake application can create dangerous situations where the vehicle continues accelerating despite brake application. Here's another dangerous fuel-saving technique. Mistake number 6, shifting to neutral while coasting to a stop. Some drivers shift to neutral when approaching red lights or stop signs. Like coasting downhill in neutral, this doesn't save fuel in modern cars and creates safety concerns. Beyond the fuel misconception, you're also significantly increasing your reaction time in emergency situations. If you suddenly need to accelerate, to avoid a hazard, you'll first need to shift back to drive and wait for engagement. Those lost seconds can be critical. Keep your car in drive when slowing down. It's ready to respond instantly if needed, and modern transmissions are designed for this exact situation. Diving deeper into this issue, the transmission to engine. Re-engagement delay when shifting from neutral back to drive can be 0.5 to 1.5 seconds depending on the transmission design and vehicle speed. Your vehicle travels 44 feet per second, meaning this delay could cost you 66 feet of critical maneuvering distance in an emergency. Modern transmissions employ torque management strategies during deceleration in drive that actually protect internal components. When decelerating in drive, the transmission control module often commands partial application of multiple clutches to distribute the engine braking forces across several friction surfaces rather than concentrating wear on a single component. The transmission cooling system also maintains optimal fluid flow during deceleration in drive, whereas shifting to neutral can reduce circulation to certain parts of the transmission. Additionally, many modern vehicles integrate transmission behavior with stability and traction control systems. These integrations function properly only when the transmission remains in drive during the entire deceleration process. Number 11 is especially damaging on cold mornings. Mistake number 5, revving a cold engine in park or neutral. Aggressively, revving your engine before it's warmed up is like sprinting immediately after waking up. Your body isn't ready, and neither is your car. Cold engine oil hasn't reached proper pressure or temperature, and cold transmission fluid is thicker and doesn't flow properly through all the narrow passages. Revving creates high loads before lubrication is adequate, leading to accelerated wear. Modern fuel-injected engines don't need warming up through revving. They warm up best under light load while driving gently. Let your car idle for 30 to 60 seconds, longer in extreme cold, then drive moderately until reaching operating temperature. Automatic transmission fluid can be up to 10 times more viscous when cold. This affects the precision operation of valve bodies, solenoids, and pressure regulators. At cold temperatures, transmission shift quality is compromised as clutch application becomes less precise. Aggressive revving can cause erratic pressure spikes in both the engine oiling system and transmission hydraulics. Modern engines with variable valve timing, direct injection, and turbochargers are particularly susceptible to cold start wear, as these systems rely on precise oil pressure regulation that isn't possible with cold, thick oil. Most manufacturer warranty data shows that vehicles regularly subjected to high RPM cold starts have significantly higher rates of premature engine and transmission failure. This one should be obvious, but too many people ignore it. Mistake number 4. Ignoring early warning signs, that slight hesitation before shifting, the occasional hard shift, the whining noise when accelerating. These aren't normal quirks. They're your transmission's early warning signals. Transmissions rarely fail without warning. They usually exhibit subtle symptoms weeks or months before major failure. Ignoring these signs allows small, inexpensive problems to develop into complete failures requiring full replacement. If you notice any changes in how your transmission shifts or sounds, get it checked immediately. Early intervention often costs hundreds instead of thousands, but you need to act on those warning signs. Understanding specific warning signs can save your transmission. Delayed engagement often indicates low fluid level, a clogged filter, or worn pump. This repair might cost $300, $600 if addressed early, versus $2,500 plus for a full rebuild later. Slipping typically indicates worn clutch packs or bands, a fluid pressure problem, or solenoid issues. Unusual noises have specific meanings too. Whining usually indicates pump problems or low fluid. Buzzing or vibration often means torque converter issues, and clunking or thumping suggests mechanical failure in planetary gear sets or a broken mount. Modern transmissions use adaptive learning algorithms that can temporarily compensate for wearing components by adjusting shift timing and pressure, masking problems until they become severe. Professional diagnostic equipment can read these adaptive values, revealing developing issues before they cause noticeable symptoms. Most transmission specialists report that 70 to 80% of catastrophic failures show warning signs at least 5,000 miles before complete failure. This next one is a guaranteed transmission killer. Number 3. Exceeding your vehicle's tow rating. Your vehicle's tow rating isn't a suggestion, it's a hard limit based on extensive engineering tests. Exceeding it puts extreme stress on your entire drivetrain, especially your transmission. Towing creates additional heat and strain on transmission components. Manufacturers calculate ratings based on what your cooling system and transmission can handle without overheating. Exceeding those limits leads to fluid breakdown and component failure. If you need to tow heavy loads regularly, invest in a vehicle properly rated for that purpose. No amount of transmission coolers or aftermarket upgrades will safely convert your family sedan into a heavy-duty truck. The engineering factors are eye-opening. Manufacturer tow ratings account for multiple factors beyond just engine power: cooling system capacity, transmission design, brake sizing, suspension load capacity, and frame strength. When towing, transmission fluid temperatures can increase by 100 above normal, approaching or exceeding the fluid's thermal breakdown threshold. At these temperatures, transmission fluid oxidizes rapidly, forming varnish and sludge while losing its lubricating properties. Manufacturers design specific transmission cooler sizes and cooling strategies based on the vehicle's tow rating. Exceeding this rating overwhelms these systems. Professional transmission shops report that vehicles regularly used for towing beyond their rated capacity typically require transmission rebuilds at 50 to 60% of their normal service life. Speaking of catastrophic mistakes. Number 2. Using the wrong transmission. Modern transmissions have extremely specific fluid requirements. Using incorrect fluid is like putting diesel in a gasoline engine. Catastrophic results will follow. Different transmission fluids have unique friction characteristics, viscosity ratings, and additive packages specifically engineered for particular transmission designs. Using the wrong type can cause slipping, harsh shifts, overheating, and complete failure. Some vehicles even use different fluids for power steering and transmission despite similar appearance. Always use the exact specification listed in your owner's manual, not generic multi-vehicle fluids. This is one area where precision matters enormously. For example, continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, require fluids with unique friction properties for their steel belt and pulley systems. Using conventional ATF in a CVT can cause belt slippage and catastrophic failure within hundreds of miles. The difference in friction coefficients between fluid types can be as much as 30%, directly affecting shift quality and component lifespan. Transmission valve bodies contain passages as small as 0.010 inches, 0.25 millimeters in diameter, the wrong fluid. Viscosity can cause pressure regulation problems through these precise orifices. Mixing fluid types can cause chemical reactions resulting in sludge formation or seal deterioration. And finally, the ultimate transmission killer. Number 1. Skipping regular maintenance. Your owner's manual maintenance schedule isn't a collection of optional suggestions. It's the blueprint for keeping your car running for hundreds of thousands of miles. Regular transmission service includes fluid changes, filter replacement, inspection of mounts, checking for leaks, and computer system updates. Skipping these services is like never going to the doctor for checkups. Problems develop undetected until they become serious. Follow the severe service maintenance schedule if you drive in traffic, hot weather, cold weather, or make short trips, which is almost everyone. Proper maintenance might cost a few $100s every couple of years, but it prevents multi-thousand-dollar repairs down the road. Manufacturer data shows that vehicles receiving regular transmission service according to maintenance schedules last on average 2.5 times longer before requiring major transmission work compared to vehicles with neglected maintenance. For vehicles with high mileage, transmission specialists often recommend more frequent fluid changes, every 30,000 miles instead of 60,000, and adding supplemental coolers for severe service applications. The cost difference is stark. Regular maintenance averaging $250, $400 every 30,000, 60,000 miles versus complete transmission replacement at $3,000 to $8,000 when failure occurs. Now, making the right decision on buying a new car determines whether your transmission lasts 80,000 miles or 300,000 miles. Which of these mistakes have you known? Let me know in the comments below. Also, hit the like button for more car tips that delivers you the truth. Remember, a good driver always avoids making car mistakes. Until next time.